Amigas y amigos de Metalópolis, ¿cómo están? Nos encontramos aquí en un formato nuevo de su podcast de confianza para conocer todo lo relacionado al mundo del heavy metal. Nos acompañan los guitarristas de Omnium Gatherum, Markus y Nick, y también su vocalista, un super vocalista de voz gutural y voz limpia llamado Jukka, una banda finlandesa que nos estará visitando este próximo 10 de febrero en la Ciudad de México, bajo la producción de ShowNoMercy. Así que vamos a empezar con esta entrevista. Hola, hola.
Hola,
How do you
hola.
feel about coming to Mexico City, to all the cities you haven't been to, and also how do you feel about your first Latin American tour in some places that you've never been to?
Super excited to come to first of all to Mexico City again. Of course, it's been 7 years. It's nice to be back. Super excited also to be able to visit the new cities and to play some quality OG steel for all our Mexican fans. So feels good.
I'm super excited to escape the Finnish winter and dark and cold to your nice, sunny, warm country where we're going to have some nice frozen margaritas in the sun. Really looking forward to that. See all the fans, and it's always great vibe in Mexico.
Lots of old friends and new friends, hopefully.
Exactly. This is a very nice place to play in, I think. That's why actually six bands from Finland, six acts from metal like Tarja, Apocalyptica, To Die For are coming to Mexico only this year. So I wanted to ask you about that. Is Finland a nice place to develop a metal band? Or how would you describe the essence of the Finnish metal sound? And also, why do you think Mexican people find it so appealing?
It comes naturally, at least I think, for us to form metal bands here and there, popping up like mushrooms in the rain. But I think for the sound, like why people find it appealing, maybe there's something in our water or something. I don't know.
Somebody put something in my drink, and there came Finnish metal.
No.
Maybe it's just different than Mexican metal, and you feel like it's exotic because of that. We feel Mexican audience is exotic because it's different than Finnish audience. So I guess it's always the difference that gives the vibe for the feeling. And we Finnish melancholic metalers, it comes from Finnish darkness and misery of the winter, and then you have your sunshiny mariachi bands and music, which is natural for you. So, and if mariachi bands are coming to play in Finland, people are like crazy here and about the exotic stuff.
So, if we talk about your music style, you call yourselves adult-oriented death metal. What does that exactly mean?
What kind of vibe it gives you? What do you think about that?
Like something that is intended to be more serious, maybe more into grown-ups and not just adolescents or teenagers or whatever.
Yeah,
I think
that was better translation than some Germans were translating. Is it like porn? Does the adult-oriented mean porn? No, it doesn't.
Well,
it's actually
mentally, of course, it does, like a metal orgasm and stuff like that. But still, it's I think it's somewhere here, like, you know, adult oriented, to see that you can have that kind of attitude no matter what your age is in general. Like, you know, you can be like 15-year-old and have that kind of attitude, or 50-year-old and have the same kind of attitude. And we try to do our music for anyone who is interested. Doesn't matter, like in that sense, in adult way, like, you know, we are not excluding anyone from the chance to understand our music, but still on the other hand, it has all the rage and all the power, and it's not all serious, but, like, you know, there is this kind of thing of that term that, like, you know, it invites people to give it a go, in a sense.
even in the first place, the whole term adult-oriented death metal was a joke, and it came by the joke of adult-oriented rock, which was like this American commercial rock, and then we were listening a lot of these bands like Journey and Toto and Foreigner, and then by some jokes, we just came to our own genre that let's just spice this melodic death metal with this kind of Journey and Foreigner touch, which makes it commercial rock touch, and maybe it works in that sense also. Like maybe our music is having some touch of commercial death metal. It's not your most usual, really aggressive, ugly death metal because it's kind of commercial, radio-friendly death metal. Unfortunately, radio stations are not proper playing death metal, so
yeah, I think
in that sense,
like in 200 years or 300-400 years, the growling sounds will be the thing. Like people try to trend from radio or whatever device they're listening at that time, but it's gonna be maybe a bit into the future still. That this kind of like vocals are super popular globally.
hopefully we have the story, and then I can go back to the future then to see that.
Yeah.
Great. So, how different is your music from other melodic death metal bands? Like, say, how different are you from the classic Gothenburg sound?
Better.
Great. Okay, that's nice to hear. But why?
Different because we were highly influenced by the Gothenburg sound in the 90s when the band was formed. So we love that stuff with At the Gates and In Flames and Dark Tranquillity and Soilwork at all. And then we somehow came through our own formula with that. We tried to copy those bands, but we never could. So it became something unique and original with the Finnish touch and then with a glimpse of commercial adult-oriented melodies. Yeah, I think Gatherum is quite a unique kind of combination of aggressive side of Jukka's vocals and then some really cheesy guitar melodies and together it makes a good combo of melodic death metal in a weird way.
Now it's really interesting to see and hear what our dear friend Nick will add to this concoction, because he has a quite sharp pen when it comes to composing, so it will be interesting indeed. Original, I don't think so.
Like a Virginia.
That hurt.
Excellent, guys. So now let's talk about your most recent material, your EP called Slasher. So how was the composition process, and why is there a cover of Michael Sembelo's Maniac? Why that tune in particular?
It felt stupid enough and good enough. And when something feels stupid and good, and you know this is gonna turn into something great, then just do it. Like the band, the song, like the melodies, they are exactly from the Omnium Gatherum notebook. They are just played differently, and somehow we heard it, and that was it. When we just played it with the Omnium Gatherum rougher sounds, it became an Omnium Gatherum songs that many people have thinking it's our song. In fact, our keyboard player is working in a local music club, and there was a cover band playing cover of Maniac, and some local guys came to say Aapo to the desk, ordering a beer and saying like, they are playing a cover of your song. And Aapo, yeah, right.
And also we can also mention the fact that, like Markus in the last interview mentioned also, that who mixed both Origin the album and Slasher the EP, Jens Bogren, originally thought that it's our own original song. And then he realized it is not, and then he just, well, I'm sorry guys, I really thought this is your song. And again, no.
He made a fool out of it.
That kind of worked. So we were able to organize it in a way that it really sounds like an OG song, which is a good thing for a cover, I think.
Yeah, I feel it would be really boring that Omnium Gatherum would do a cover of At the Gates song or In
Right.
Flames song or something too obvious.
Si la gente que nos está escuchando no ha escuchado Maniac by OG, by Omnium Gatherum, you should now listen to it because it's really, really nice. Okay, the two last questions. First, okay, my personal album from your band is my personal favorite album from the band is The Red Shift. I love that album back in the day. I think it was really, really nice. But I think it's quite different from the sound you are showing right now, right in this era, right? It's quite different in some aspects. But for the newcomers, for the people who have never listened to any song, any minute of your music, how would you describe the transition from that album, for example, until now?
Adventures. Redshift was a kind of like our breakthrough album where the band found their own sound, and then we've just been refinishing it and adventuring it and exploring it. Redshift album was quite of like a bangers, and then New World Shadows was more like we became more progressive metal, and Beyond continued on the progressive adventures, and then Grey Heavens album and Burning Cold, they were more straightforward, back to more aggressive songs, and then Origin again became more melodic and more poppier maybe, and more clean vocals, and I would say our last EP, Slasher, the song Slasher could be on the Redshift album in my opinion, because it's again like a more old school melodic death metal banger. So
it's kind of like a full circle there. Yeah, definitely. And I would say, like, you know, for that kind of person that never heard a song, like, you know, I would say like pick a song from Redshift and pick a song from Origin and listen to them at like any, like, doesn't have to be Redshift song first and then Origin. It can be the other way around, and then make up your mind, like you know, what is your preference, and think about how many years it's been between them, so you can get a touch of 2008 and touch of 2021, like then, and maybe then you can understand maybe or maybe the evolution, a little bit of the evolution of the composing and
those two records. I think they're very nice to introduce yourselves to the band, to know all the types of sounds that you can make, I think. So what is your perception of the music industry nowadays compared to early 2000s? Don't you feel like all these the way in which musicians are making money is really more complicated now?
Yeah, it's a question with many sides. Like, of course, we never got to see the heydays of like the real CD and vinyl industry when bands were selling millions of them. So we already became quite late 20 years ago to the market. So I think that was a good thing. We are not so jealous of the 90s. But it's been changing, of course. Bands are not getting that many stuff from anymore, like music royalties, but then I would say like merchandise business with all the t-shirts and that kind of stuff is way more bigger than it used to be back then, and then it kind of balances the thing. So we're in a good situation. We cannot whine too much, and all the like concert places have been getting so much better than like 20 years ago, and so pros and cons, and I don't want to listen to these whiners that everything was so much better before, because it was not. Something wasn't, something definitely wasn't.
Merch is like the most important thing right now to get some money, to get some capital for your project. So people, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this podcast, please buy some OG t-shirts. They're very nice. I've seen all their designs in the website and they're beautiful. So that's a nice way to support your favorite band. finally, guys, Markus, Jukka, Nick, what can we expect from your shows in Mexico, in particular in Mexico City, which is where I'm based on, and any message you want to leave for your Mexican fans?
Well, I think you guys can expect a show that is really energetic, because we don't mess around. We go to the thing, and we like to be super active. So we are expecting people to also let their fears go and start headbanging like a good metal people should. It's really easy.
We've traveled a long way to come there, so expect no less than our giving 300% after that. And
You're
we
here.
will try to do that. I'm looking forward to see the amazing fans, and what better the crowd reaction, better we are playing and giving out all to the fans. So
It's always such an honor and pleasure to play for really passionate and knowledgeable audience like what you get in Mexico City.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be really having fun that day. Pretty sure.
yeah.
Okay. Hey, this is
Okay,
Jukka from
you're the
Omnium
host.
Gatherum, and we will see you soon in Mexico, and you are listening to Metalópolis podcast.
This is Markus from Omnium Gatherum,
This is Nick.
and you are still listening to Metalópolis podcast. See you soon, Mexican friends.